This week on the weekly step-by-step Write a Book with Me, we're talking about how to add a second protagonist, how to bring that character in, and what you should do beforehand. My goal in this series is to show you exactly how I write a book so that I can guide you in writing your own. And we're going to do it together every single week. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button because you don't want to miss a single one of these. Every single one will be talking about a different aspect of writing a book, showing you hands-on exactly how to do it. I've told you before, it is a little terrifying because it's a totally different genre for me. It's a totally different thing for me. And I am sharing this whole process, the ins and outs, the agony and the defeat and all of that with you guys so that you can see exactly how I go about it. So this week I'm introducing a new character. It's something I touched on a couple of weeks ago that I was thinking about. And that's what I basically did is I let it cook in the back of my head until I sort of figured out who this character was. And I hear from a lot of you. I see you in the comments. I hear you when you email me or DM me. And please feel free to DM me with a question or drop a comment below. I hear you when you say you're a pantser and you can't really do that yourself. I'm mostly a pantser, but I need at least a little bit of structure, which is something I talk about in a lot of my videos about how you have to have that framework in order to know which direction to go. Otherwise, you end up writing a lot of scenes that ultimately need to be cut. I'd like you guys to write a better, faster first draft so that when you go to edit it, you've got something to work with. So what I did was I thought about this second character. I thought about how she would be integral to the part because you don't want to just introduce a character for no reason whatsoever. So before I did it, I wrote a little bit of notes here. I kind of figured out why she was there, a little bit of her plot line, very little. And I even wrote like a little scene that will be hopefully used in the future because I had an idea and there is my notebook that I keep by my bed and I wrote it down just before I fell asleep one night. So that preliminary work helps you to create a character that is more fully formed on the page. If your character comes to you and all you have is a bare outline, that's totally okay. I just want you to write and start to figure it out as you go along. Okay, so let's talk about this character who I don't even think I've named yet. I haven't figured out that much. I've just sort of figured out what she's doing and what's going to happen in the future and how she ties into where we left off in chapter 1, where that girl comes out of the woods. So I just started by describing where she is in the middle of the night, because I have a bigger intention for this. I don't usually start with the time of day or the weather in a book like this, but for here, I really wanted to kind of capture that mood and capture that innocence and vulnerability that she had in this moment because something terrible is about to happen to her. Pulled in a quilt that she had that was combined from all of these different pieces of her life, because that's also symbolic of everything else. And these sentences aren't perfect. They're far from perfect. They're just something there. So I have something to work with. I want to start layering in that little bit of suspense right away. And I'm hoping that right there, I have hooked the reader in these 2 paragraphs. And this is as far as I got because I didn't have a lot of time this week. Next week, I'm going to finish with adding her goal, motivation, and conflict and putting her first actions into this plot, into this scene. So what I'm going to do every week with the step-by-step Writing a Book with Me program is I'm going to hold your hand and show you exactly the process that you need to go through to write a book from start to finish. And I hope that you follow along with me and you see the process and see how I struggle and also how I solve the problems that I come across, because no book is ever 100% easy and just flows from start to finish without any kind of hiccups. There's always hiccups. There's always things to think about. I'm working to make this the best I possibly can, just as you guys are at home. So hit the subscribe button, come with me, and let's write a better book together. And I'll see you on the other side of the page.